I'm sorry, but you're not hitting. The fact you can just run around and pull your sniper rifle and shoot, and it's ridiculous. Gamers out there, good luck. Just don't think you can be a sniper just because you play Counter-Strike, okay? My name is Johnathan J.T. Taylor. I was a Marine Scout Sniper for over 5 deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan. I'm currently the CEO and President of the Marine Scout Sniper Association. Today, we'll be looking at sniping in video games and judge how real they are.
Crouch, keep a low profile. Hold up. Got movement approaching. We're safe to move.
Everybody knows one of a sniper's toolkit is their ghillie suit. They are very effective in certain situations. However, when this entire patrol of people start coming, the likelihood of them not seeing 2 guys laying there in the swamp as they walk right over them is very unlikely. Now, I have had times where kids have came up and started actually picking flowers off the front of my screen in front of my ghillie suit where I've been sitting in a position. So you can be very, very disguised and camouflaged, but laying down like this, 2 full bodies in a ditch with a whole squad of enemy walking over you, sorry, you're done.
Scout the area.
Holy hell, Captain. Target-rich environment.
Not realistic. He's got a scope that's got thermal capability. It also has a rangefinder in the actual reticle. Most times you have a rangefinder that is attached to the top of your scope, and you have to look at a different screen to see the range.
Clean hit.
Clear shots. He's all alone.
Not accurate. Once you fire a shot and you've hit someone, everybody knows you're there. There's no, like, guys aren't just going to keep walking around patrolling. Oh, somebody died over there. Oh, well, let me keep walking this way. No, all broke loose. And especially if you're in an elevated position like that, it's going to echo. So they're going to know kind of direction and distance you're kind of shooting from. And you're going to get everybody in that little area is going to turn their weapons and start lighting that hill up. Now that's accurate. So what he did there is he called a mill hold, right? So you see his crosshairs weren't actually on the guy. You see a lot of times, like when a target is far, they're shooting like 2 or 3 lines above the head, and basically you're just accounting for the bullet drop at that distance. So that's very accurate. Actually, I've got something here to show you. This is an actual replica of a 50 caliber sniper round, right? So this would be the type of caliber that you would need if you're trying to shoot down a helicopter or a vehicle. But with the regular sniper rifles, like a 7.62, 5.56, it's not going to affect the helicopter. This is a 7.62 or 308 round projectile. So this is what we get for graduating sniper school. It's our most prized possession. It's called a hog's tooth. And you can see the difference between the 308 or 7.62 and the 50 cal. It's quite a significant difference. A lot more energy. Oh, here's the drones. I love it whenever you see drones being used. Now, drones can be very effective for a sniper team. However, some of the benefits of using a drone in a combat situation or something like this is that it helps you get a clearer view and vision of actually what's going on the target. However, they're best used from a distance, a good safe distance, because they do make noise. You know, overall, there's a lot of aspects of this clip, especially in Call of Duty, that are pretty accurate. A lot of like military consultants and people came in to help design these games to make sure they're as accurate as possible. So I would give it a 8 out of 10. I'm sorry, but you're not hitting. Gamers out there, good luck. Just don't think you can be a sniper just because you play Counter-Strike, okay? You're not using a sniper rifle in any kind of enclosed areas. A scoped rifle, you're not. You don't have time to get sight picture, sight alignment to hit anything running around. You've got to be in a position and have, proper position, proper bone structure, proper support. It's probably the biggest thing I have against these video games is the fact you can just run around and pull your sniper rifle and shoot. And it's ridiculous. So that was a smoke grenade that he just threw. A smoke grenade is mostly used for signaling purposes. Usually we use smokes, different color code for different types of reasons, right? So we use like a green means like it's friendly, like pick me up. A red is like a casualty, you know, hey, drop the helo here is a casualty site. And you put that all in your signal plan before your mission. But using a white smoke just to disguise yourself, it's not very accurate. This guy's just walking around with a 30-pound gun in the shoulder, peeking out, shooting people. Like, it's ridiculous. As far as like the technique that they use in video games a lot, called like peeking, where you're peeking behind cover and popping out to see what's there. We call it turkey peeking in the Marine Corps. As a sniper and set up an actual sniper hide position, you would never do that because you're highlighting yourself. There's a couple different methods that we use so that you can see from behind your cover. One thing that we used to use in Iraq is called a periscope. You could lay there and use your periscope, and you could just kind of see. You could scan around and see what's out there. That's one technique you can use. A lot of times we'd either try to bust a hole in the wall so that we could see out of it. You can also use a mirror. Like if you got to look around corners or stuff, you can just stick a mirror out, things like that. But as far as popping your body out, nah, you never want to do that. These guys have some insane verticals in this game too. That dude just jumped like 10 feet in the air. Jesus Christ. The technique of quick scoping or no scoping, not very effective at all. Quick scoping, so it's where you would pull your gun up really quick, try to get sight picture, sight alignment, fire a shot, and then go back down. Every time you have to get in your scope and pull your scope up, you're limiting your view so much that you have no clue what's going on around you in your peripheral. You're just a sitting duck at that time, trying to get your sight picture. You're playing with it, you're fishing, trying to get your target. You're just not going to hit anything. No scoping would be just pulling your gun up and firing, like aiming it at who you're pointing at. It's not effective. You couldn't hardly do it with a scope weapon. That's not what they're designed for. That's why most snipers also have a sidearm. So when I was in Afghanistan and I was in Iraq, I always had an M4 and a pistol because it's just a lot easier to get up and fire quickly and move. I would have to rate it probably a 4. The way they're running around, pulling up, using the quick scope method, all these different things, turkey peeking, you'd be a goner, man. And that's the fun part about these shooter games, you know, is that you can run around and jump and you get your adrenaline going and people are shooting at you and missing. But it's not like that in real life. Okay, for some reason his reticle is canted. The way your reticle is oriented doesn't really have a lot of effect on how you're going to shoot. I mean, as long as you're taking a well-aimed shot. When I first went to sniper school, a lot of the scopes that we got, the reticles were canted. That gave some people some issues on the range at sniper school, but we were able to work through it. So even if your scope is canted a little bit, you can still hit your target. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I mean, once again, they don't have any shooting position. Traditionally and tactically, having high ground is always the advantage. However, in a combat situation or an area that's highly kinetic, meaning there's a lot of operations going on, there's enemy, there's guys are fighting, noticeable high ground is going to be a target. You always want to have that 360 coverage and never have your back exposed. No way he's shooting somebody like that. This guy just took a shot at 675 meters, using the holds with the guy running. Not to mention, he's from an elevated position, shooting across multiple hills and valleys. The wind call alone would be because a lot of people don't realize this is when the wind really starts making a difference. Up to 500, 600 with a high-power rifle, the wind's not really affecting it that much. But out past like 650 and on, the wind does start affecting the round a lot more in its flight. Here with this shot here, what makes this area difficult is all this different terrain. You've got peaks, you got valleys, you got hills that go up. The wind is just bouncing off of all these. So to make a shot like that with a guy running, impossible. And when you're shooting a vehicle, unless you're shooting it with a 7.62 or higher, there's actually no prediction of what's going to happen to a round once it hits glass. You don't know where it's going to go. We've studied it, we've shot it all the time, but it's always different. I would probably give it a 4 out of 10. Every shot I've seen, he hasn't been from a steady position. That's just ridiculous. He's trying to shoot both of them at the same time, seems like. Yes, it would be possible. It would have to be at a pretty short distance with a very high power, high caliber weapon. But once again, just like when I talk about the terminal ballistics of shooting through glass, we call it barriers, right? Barricades. Once you're shooting through something like that, whether it be glass, wood, a human, there's no way to accurately predict where that round is going to go. I like how the reticle moved up and down. You had to control your breathing to take the shot. Breathing is one of the fundamentals of taking a quality shot. When you're doing your breathing, you want to make sure that you fire on your natural pause. Naturally, as you breathe in, your crosshairs are going to rise, and as you exhale, they're going to drop. And once that breath has been exhaled, that's when you fire. Good shot, right through the helmet. As a sniper, we never take a headshot unless it's in a crisis situation, a hostage situation, something like that, and you're at a pretty close distance. The reason is there's such a room for error, so you always want to aim center mass of the body. And even if you hit, they're probably going to go down and you can get a secondary shot. He shot a box of explosive stuff. One thing that, people think about, you always see in these video games and movies that you're shooting stuff and it blows up. Is that possible? It is possible with the right type of round, definitely with a 50 caliber, especially the rounds that we shoot. With this round that we're issued, the Marine Corps, we call them Rothfuss rounds. And what makes them impactful is the fact that they have a tungsten steel penetrator inside. And then surrounding that is called zirconium particles. Zirconium particles are like incendiary. So it's like the same thing as an incendiary grenade. If you were to shoot an explosive with this, it would blow it up. We've got a guy that's shooting a rifle. It's not a sniper rifle. He's just firing it off into the distance across the mountains. The actual max distance of a rifle varies. That could go, who knows how far it could fly, but not accurately. Most rifles, the max effective distance of a 7.62, like an actual sniper rifle, is about 1,000 yards. Now the max effective of the 50 caliber is a lot further than that. It's about 2,000, 1,800 to 22, something like that. Even though the max effective is 18 to 22, you can still fire and kind of predict where that round is going to drop or hit, which is exactly what I did with my soon-to-be, hopefully it's the longest ever confirmed kill by a Marine Scout Sniper in combat, which was 2,426 meters. And that was in Afghanistan, in Marja, Afghanistan. I would give this probably a 4 out of 10, not realistic. This whole clip's bullshit. He's not even in a position. He's like in some weird kneeling position, using his arm. I don't know. He's just killing everybody, like freaking Rambo or something. I don't know. It's stupid. Well, hands down, without a doubt, the most stable and accurate shooting position for a sniper would be prone. Prone is where you have the most support as far as the weapon goes, which is, allowing your body to absorb the recoil. There's the kneeling position, of course. You can get a pretty accurate position, a pretty stable position, but you're still not as accurate as the prone. But he's just sitting there. It's not even a real kneeling position. I like the reticle. See, I like reticles like this that don't have a lot going on. I'm not a fan of the Christmas tree reticles that have all these crazy lines and stuff going on. It takes away the view. To me, it's too busy. I like these more simplified reticles. I prefer like a mil-dot reticle because that's what I was trained on. That's what I was raised on. So, and as you start to zoom in, scopes have different zoom power, right? Like from 3 to 10, 3 to 20, 3 to 12, 5 to 25, which is probably the most common that I really like is like a 5 to 25 power. So sniping in video games, they use what they call pre-aiming, which is similar to exactly what we use, what we call it leading or ambush point. So basically if somebody's walking, you can kind of gauge what mile per hour they're walking, leading a target that's moving. Very difficult. It's doable, but it's something you have to really train and practice. So when I took my longest shot in Afghanistan, I used the ambush method to engage those guys.
I did not see that coming, 47. That is Guillaume Maison.
In this clip where he shot a speaker off the wall and it fell on a guy, or you shot a statue and you knew it was going to fall on a guy, that's not accurate. Our goal is one shot, one kill, no wasted rounds. So you would never shoot at something that you don't intend to kill. That's one of the rules. Once again, I'm sorry to these video game guys. You know, this game I have to give a 3 out of 10. I mean, he's not even in a proper position. He's shooting everybody in this village. I see it's a hitman, so he's not worried about rules of engagement. See there how he's actually in a supported position? He's in the prone. He's got his gun up, supported. So a sniper camouflages themselves based on their environment. So in a wintry environment, a snow environment, we do have what we call overwhites. We call them overwhites, and basically it's just a white snow camouflaged suit that you can put on, and it does make you very concealable in the snow or any kind of like wintry type conditions. I would move behind those rocks and not in front of them. You always want to take the longest route to your objective because you want to come in from a way that people would not expect you. So this guy is ghillied up on a ridge line. I've done it multiple times. There's a misconception about being able to accurately take shots, sniper shots at distance with thermals and night vision. It's not easy. It's very hard because you got to factor in how the moonlight is, if there's ambient light or no ambient light. Sometimes your night vision may not even be operable if there's no ambient light. The thing that you see about snipers on the night, we do on the night, but we're usually not engaging people at night because first off, the enemy doesn't move much at night because they don't have the same capabilities we have. So 90% of all of our engagements are during daylight. It's a nice gun. The TAC-50 is a very high power, high velocity round. So just like in video games, how you can customize and manipulate your weapons and the components and the different pieces. That's also accurate in real life. So if you're the Marines, you're not going to be able to alter that weapon too much. We use basically our standard issued loadout weapon. However, the only thing that I would change on this gun would be to have the mounted laser rangefinder on your scope. So it's a one-stop shop. You can go ahead and laser your target, get the data, and it tells you exactly what your data is right in the screen. Nowadays, if I was actually operating again, that would be a must-have. Ghost Recon does a really good job using military consultants and trying to make sure it's accurate. I would give this an 8 out of 10. This is one of my favorite games. If I do play a game, I like Ghost Recon. I like the reticle though. And this is pretty accurate too. He's basically just holding crosshairs on all these guys and hitting, which would be common at distances this short. He's probably not even over, 200, 2 something. The recoil in video games isn't very accurate because most of the time when you're taking that shot, you're going to lose your sight picture and your sight alignment. And then you've got to re-sight back in. A lot of these games that you see, your sight picture just barely leaves the target when you fire, if any, and you're able to get that immediate follow-on shot. When it comes to doing your reload, if you're in a good steady position, you can manipulate your weapon and get a good reload and get right back in the fight fairly quickly. But the way that as fast as they do it in these games is not really accurate. Now the guys are moving, finally. And when you're in a sniper hide and you're taking shots, you're engaging, you can only get a couple shots off from one spot. In the video games, it's just one person. One person has a very low likelihood of surviving. You don't have the ass behind you. You don't have enough ammunition. You don't have enough firepower. If people start chasing you down, you're done. That's why we operate in teams, small teams. That way you have enough firepower to get yourself out of high-risk situations or crappy situations. So for this clip, I would give it a 3 out of 10. That's pretty accurate with this clip because of the short distances that they're firing. However, once again, like other clips, they still don't have a solid shooting position. Okay, Jesus. I've never touched Fortnite, never played Fortnite, don't even like the word Fortnite. I guess it's just a fun video game to play. There's zero accuracy when it comes to sniping. First off, a sniper would never be aggressively pursuing a target. I mean, when you get set up in a sniper hide, it's a defensive position. So no, you would never be out running and trying to shoot people with your sniper rifle. Man, this girl, if you're crossing any open area, you're running. You're not crouching because you don't want to be out in the open at all. If you're moving around during the day as a sniper, it's worst case scenario, or B, you're supporting some type of operation and using bounding overwatch. Now, when you talk about the crouching movements as a sniper, that's something that we do when we're doing a thing called stalking. Stalking is basically where you camouflage up, get your ghillie suit, and you're trying to get as close you can to a target, get set up in a shooting position, and engage that target. So you want to make slow, methodical movements and keep a low silhouette. In this context, she's just crouching, running around, jumping and shooting stuff. Not accurate. 1 out of 10. Next video.
Last player standing.
I love how quickly they can just pull their sniper rifles up in these games. They can go from having knives in their hand to just sniper rifle up. People don't realize, you don't realize that these guns weigh 20 to 30 pounds. It's not easy to move with it, first off. Secondly, it's not easy just to sling it up and upside down and put it in your shoulder and start shooting. So the hit scan on these video games means basically as soon as you fire, it instantly hits the target. So there's no time of flight calculated in. It's just boom, boom. Depending on what caliber and what type of actual round you're shooting, will determine what the time of flight of that bullet will be. But the average is over 2,000 feet per second. When I talked earlier about my longest ever sniper kill in combat, at over 2,400 meters, the time of flight is over 6 seconds. But in an urban situation, it's immediate. It's immediate impact. As soon as you pull the trigger, it hits. This is right on the level of Fortnite, of being unrealistic. I'll give it a 1, just because I'm nice. These are made up futuristic guns. There's all kind of crazy stuff going on. Looks fun. It's like a fun game, but it ain't accurate as far as my line of work. I think it all starts with the term sniper, right? So a sniper is not a gun. A sniper is not a weapon. A sniper is a profession. You've got long-range precision rifles, but a sniper rifle is a rifle that a sniper is using. So I think that's one thing that's a misconception that people don't understand. And actually, shooting is the smallest portion of what it takes to become what a sniper's job. It's really the smallest part. But when it comes time to take that shot, it's the most important part. So in operations now, it's very common to use suppressed weapons. The couple reasons why. Reason one is it reduces the muzzle flash for detection, so you can't be seen as much. Secondly, it reduces the sound. And just because you have a suppressor does not mean it's a silencer. Suppressor still makes noise. As far as a silenced weapon, the only silenced weapons will be pistols because of the low caliber and the low pressure. Even a pistol is not completely silent, but that's as close to silence as you can get. Once again, 1 out of 10 for rating this. Sorry. The weapons are cool and pretty accurate, but once again, a common theme in these video games is that you can just run around shooting. Your average sniper, you're carrying 65 to 100 pounds of gear on you. You can't just be running up and down mountains shooting people. You're just not going to survive long. One thing that goes into play when you're operating in cold environment or snow is trying to make sure that you're keeping your gear and your weapon dry and your optics not fogging up a lot, because especially with snow, you get condensation in there. You make sure you're keeping like dry rags with you in Ziploc bags or something, so you can pull those out and dry your stuff off. I'll give it a 3 out of 10 just because it seems like the optics, the weapons, everything looks pretty good. It's just, you know, these guys just aren't utilizing it proper sniper techniques. When I do play a video game, my favorite to play is probably anything in the Ghost Recon series, just because I like the realism of the weapons. I like how you can customize yourself, you can customize your gear, you can customize your weapons. I like how the tactics, like the small team tactics they let you utilize, are pretty accurate. Well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, why not click on the next video?